Look, up in the sky. It's a bird.
It's a plane.
See all these people here having a great time, and my daughter's here. She's 4 years old. She got her Spider-Man costume on.
Really?
It's crazy, man.
What did she think of Dad being in this huge superhero movie?
Loved it. She was on the set. Well, she was on the set of Django too.
Yeah.
So she comes to all of the sets. She was on the set of Django when she was 3. So, but she was like, Daddy, what's going on? And I took her to when I went to get my makeup. I took her. She said, what are we doing here? So I'm gonna be Electro. You know, my favorite is Spider-Man. I said, no, I'm gonna be fighting Spider-Man. You better not hurt Spider-Man.
Better not hurt him. What did she think of the makeup, man?
She loved it.
Yeah.
And then they put her in a Spider-Man costume.
Nice.
So we sat on the set. You know, at times she was in a Spider-Man costume, I'm in my costume, and she would just touch it. Ew.
As long as it didn't freak her out.
You know what? If she's on the set of Django and doesn't get freaked out,
That's
with
true.
a wall full of blood, I mean, you know.
She's seen it all at this point.
She's seen it all.
So let's talk about your performance as Electro. Do you get to go a little over the top with it?
You know what we did? I think Marc covered all the bases, and I think what we did though is that. Like I had familiarity with the Electro character before getting into this, and I told him, I said, the fact that his dad left him really makes him a vulnerable character, and we could really capitalize off of that. Living with your mom, and I know this dude named Richard who lived with his mom, and he was in his 40s, and he just never got going. And even with Electro being married at one point, and we don't touch on that in the film, but and his wife leaves him because what are we doing? That can leave an empty character, so we got an opportunity before he turns into Electro to really be compelling. And so Marc and I even took it a step further, saying like maybe it's his birthday, and no one remembers his birthday.
Wow.
Not even his mom. Now we're watching before anything supernatural has happened. We feel vested in this guy. Like, wow, mom didn't know who you were. I said, if we could do 3 things.
At some point.
Love, work, and socially he's disrespected. I think we win. So when his mom doesn't remember his birthday, and then his work shuns him, and then socially he's supposed to have a birthday and nobody it just sets it up for when he turns into Electro. It's like, I finally can be, I can just be myself. People dig me now. They know my name. And then the last part of it is when he finally sees his hero, Spider-Man, he's like, yo, we can do this together.
Yeah.
And Spidey's like, not really. What do you mean, not really?
Yeah, right.
And so now he can.
It's like his best friends. They're turning his back on him.
Oh my God! And that now you watch it going like, man, I feel for the guy, but I kind of understand. He's doing wrong, but I kind of understand, which is a throwback to the way the old, villains are created.
Well, it's always more interesting if they're sympathetic.
Yeah, when they come from a place like, if his mom would have just if she would have just remembered the cake, I wouldn't be out here trying to burn the whole fucking Times Square down.
Yeah.
But mom didn't remember the cake. So.
I'm curious about Max's relationship with Spider-Man and then Electro's relationship to Spider-Man.
Max's relationship is this. Max is in a tough place. No one thinks about it. No one cares. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Spider-Man shows up on the street and saves his life because a car was about to hit him. And then he says something that should have been just small and thrown away, which Spider-Man thought. But he said something to stick to Max. He says, listen, Max, you okay? How did you know my name? Don't worry about it. Listen, I need you, Max. You're out here. You're my eyes and my ears. We're partners, Max. And he leaves. And then something triggers in Max. Like, no one's ever wanted to play with me.
Right.
So when you see Max in his bedroom a year later, and the Spider-Man posters all over the wall, and he talks to Spider-Man. Out of all the places you could have been, you're right here in my apartment. I understand if someone's celebrating a birthday. Did you know that?
Wow.
So it's those types of things.
It's almost like he sounds like a little bit childlike in a way.
Very much so. Very much so. Who's that? Yeah, he's very childlike. And I think that's what's interesting about these characters. And maybe you know guys like this. I know some guys that are in their 40s or even their 50s who mother never let go, and they never developed. And so we wanted to really make him feel like he is a child. He's a big grown child. He's afraid somebody jerking and please don't hit me. so that when he turns into Electro, it's a child. It's like a child emperor who has all of this power. You mean I can really go out and do this?
Right.
Okay, we're about to get it in.
And let's talk about the makeup for both Max, because I see that thing they got on your head as Max, man. That looks pretty rough.
Yeah, well, my sister designed it.
Really?
I said, listen, I want to be the first black guy with a comb over in a movie. And I said, and I think it's necessary that I don't try to look fly.
Right.
I think it's necessary that we go all the way with this character because the transition is going to be like night and day. You know, you go from Max to he's afraid of his own shadow to, oh wow. I mean, that dude, it's really going to make sense.
And now, does the makeup as Electro help you get in that
helps
character?
Everything. When the makeup is on, as they're putting it on and putting the nose on and mouth, and then all of a sudden you sort of feel this person behind you step inside of you and says, "Okay, we're here now."
Wow.
And that's what's the great. Howard Berger was just amazing at putting the makeup together, and that's when you know it works, when the makeup controls the character.
Let's just talk about superhero movies in general. I mean, are you a fan of the genre, and you're a fan of what's your favorite? Would you say?
Well, what just came out, the Avengers, absolutely floored me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm good friends with Robert Downey Jr. So when they cast him to start, I was like, perfection.
Yeah.
So and I hadn't met him until we did this movie. We did this movie together, Solos, and this is before it came out. And he was just sort of worried. I said, let me explain something to you about your future. I'm going to hum a couple of lines of a song. Dun, 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 dun. I said, when that movie drops, watch what happens to your life. And so he was perfect. And people who maybe don't know the comic, but to have him and stuff was just... It's perfect. So
Absolutely.
Watching those Avengers, and then to be honest with you, watching Andrew Garfield, which one I saw in Social Network, I said, "What's this kid? This kid has a thing, you know." And it's hard to find a thing in Hollywood. And then when he took over Spider-Man, I said, "Only that dude could have done it."
Yeah.
Because people were like, "How are they gonna reboot it?" And then that dude, he has a certain way under sex appeal, way under. Women really dig, but he also, in playing Peter Parker, to where he's a nerd, but he's not stupid. I get it. You want to beat my ass? That type. I get it. And he does it with such charm, and I think that's why people are really gravitating to this Spider-Man. So it's going to be really exciting to see him. And also Dane DeHaan, that kid right there.
Yeah.
He's a superstar.
Do you have several scenes with him, or?
I got a couple of scenes with him, but that kid right there, he chews right through it. So he's amazing.
I know. I mean, you're a veteran of this business. You've been in every type of movie, Oscar, everything. But when a movie like this hits, is there still like a little bit of a level of intimidation, just because of how big the fan base is and how like judgmental they can be?
Yeah. You gotta look. You gotta pay attention to the fans in movies like this. But you also gotta be able to challenge them. You gotta be able to let them know that, hey, I'm not out there trying to let it fail, and I'm not out there trying to let you come to the theater and watch it fail. And always stay humble. And I think with this team, what they're doing is they're making sure that they're respected by making sure the trailers, everything is compelling. And at the same time, they want to challenge, because you have to be able to step out there, you know, but always. That's always in the back of your mind, especially with something big like this. You just don't want them to leave disappointed. So that's definitely a big thing.